Hey guys, I noticed that you seem to like my scary story readings, so I decided to make this video where I read scary stories, but it has a twist. These are some of my personal paranormal stories that I want to share with you. As always, don't forget to leave a comment if you have any questions or if you want more of these kinds of stuff. So, my first story, that I remember at least, goes back to when I was around 4 or 5 maybe. It was a pretty sudden thing. I was at my godmother's town to visit her, and there was a small fair in a park around said town. I was there with my parents when suddenly I got this itch in my eyes, like if they were shaking. As anyone will do, I told my parents immediately about the shaking I was feeling. They looked at me and they were shocked to see that, in fact, my eyes were shaking like crazy. Now, if you think that I'm making this up, it was actually my mom who told me the details of this story, since I only remember certain parts of it. Back to the story. My parents took me to the hospital to make every single exam that would relate to my brain system and other factors that would affect my eyes that way. Well, you guessed it, all negative. I had absolutely nothing wrong about me. So, my mom secretly went to a medium or a psychic or whatever to see if she had any opinions. It was almost like the last thing she could do to find a cure for my problem. The psychic said that the spirit had me half possessed. I know it's strange, but it's like in a way he didn't have full control of my body, but only my eyes. It wanted attention and didn't want to hurt me by any means. Apparently, someone in my family, which my mom refuses to tell me who it was, prayed for that spirit to move on, and guess what? It did, after 3 days. Now, I'm an atheist, so I don't believe in God or whatever, but maybe the spirit did. It just wanted to feel important, so praying for it would be a very flattering thing to do. Now, for the second story, we will go to around 3 or 4 years later, when I was about 8 or maybe 9. Something you should know is that my grandma practically raised me, since I spent most of my time at her house because of my parents working until late at night. At this stage, I started falling in love with basketball, but I didn't have a hoop or anything at my grandma's to play. So, as a creative mind that I was, I picked up a beach bucket to make sandcastles and made a hole at the bottom, so a fairly small ball could fit in it. I hung it up in the garage wall, and there it was, my improvised basketball hoop. Enough of happy stuff. One day, when I was playing, I, just out of instinct, looked to the door which connects the garage to the hallway of the house. The door was opened, and I saw something very bizarre there. A woman. I made a very shitty sketch on paint to explain the way I saw this. It's stupid, I know, but I think it works. Take a look. As you can see, the blue dot, which is me, in the garage, and the black dot, so the woman, is right outside the door. I could perfectly see her, but I don't think it was just a woman. She had her face covered by her long hair and was wearing an uniform that I only recognized years later as something an old-times French maid would wear. Again, at this age, I didn't know what a French maid was, and I only watched my first horror movie when I was 11 or 12, so it wasn't my mind fucking with me. I also rubbed my eyes to see if she would go away, but she only did when I faced away from her. After all this, I went running to my grandma and told her everything, but she just replied, "Well, my dear, there's no one else in here." I also told my mother later, and she got very worried because she related this to the first story I just told you. Even now, I get chills from going through that hallway. Now last but not least, I present to you the third story I'm going to tell you today. This was not much longer than a year ago, actually. It was summertime, and I had a wonderful but tiring day. I was at my father's house. Yes, my parents are divorced, laying on a couch, and I decided to sleep there. I was just falling asleep when I suddenly heard click. It was a loud sound, and it was just like if someone was turning on the light switch. Okay, now it's time for Shitty Sketch Made on Paint Part 2. Take a look at the picture. I was trying to sleep on the couch when that sound happened, and it woke me up from how loud it was. It wasn't like wood cracking on the floor, so I looked over to the kitchen door, which was closed, to see if someone had indeed turned on the lights. I looked to the thin space between the door and the floor and noticed that the lights were off. Wow, that's weird, I thought. But then I remembered that maybe someone was in the hallway, so I looked over to the glass door that leads to the hallway, which was also closed, and well, the lights were on. Even though the glass was slightly dull, you can perfectly tell if the hallway light is on. I just ignored it and saw it as something made up by my own mind. So, I tried to fall asleep again, and I almost did until click. Again? I thought with slight rage. I checked both doors again and fuck me. Nothing. I was a bit scared at this point, to be honest. Well, it happened again after this, so I got up and woke up my dad, which was a bit embarrassing. He just got up and said that it was my head playing tricks on me, and I quote, because of those fucking scary videos you watch. Now, I can guarantee you, I didn't watch anything scary that day, so it wasn't my psychological. I somehow fell asleep after this, and to this day I don't know what the actual fuck it was. Maybe it was some kind of ghost playing with me. Maybe it was something in the walls, but that's impossible, because I never heard it again. Well, although it didn't seem like much, I was scared shitless, and I'll never forget that night. Thank you guys for watching. I enjoyed this video a lot, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. See you in the next one.